1,000-point move in gold, or even say a 600-700-point move in gold, is enormous when it comes to these projects. Talk about that, because the value is just screaming off the charts. You're permitted. You're in a good jurisdiction. There's nothing holding you back. I mean, these are really conservative estimates when I look at them.
Talk about conservative. The inverse of such is when you do hand off to get a report like this put together by an independent, which it of course is. It's under what's called SK 1300, which is the reporting governing law for us. You know, this is 80-year equipment. This is going and buying brand new equipment out of Scandinavia, out of Chile, bringing it in. There's probably a slew of equipment in the US that we could go in and source some of it secondhand. But let's not go into the weeds here. Let's just look at it as, us building a brand new 80-year plant. Look, these numbers are clearly, way out of whack with our market cap, again, using the baseline numbers. $2,100 gold, $4.10 copper, and you brought up the NPV. Well, we would be trading generally in a normalized market at around 60 to 80% of that NPV. 60% if we were in a jurisdiction like the Bolivian mountains, and 80% if we were sitting on flat ground in Wyoming or in Nevada. So we don't even meet close to that benchmark right now in a valuation, or from a valuation perspective. Now, when you start looking at spot, look, I'm even comfortable imagining this at $2,500 gold. Do you see that number just start out, or net present value just start to increase and just hockey sticks from there? So the economics on this project, one of the questions around it when we went into the pre-permit phase where we did the engineering and we wanted to look at an economic framework was, how does this thing stack up? Not just in a strong case scenario for gold and copper, but how does it look if the metals softened, if they went below 2,100? And that removes this variability of it being an asset that might not work in lower metal prices. It completely, obviously proves itself through the whole slew, as you can see on that sensitivities table or sensitivities chart. So when we start to imagine, these high metal prices holding in, and let's say 3,400 is not a long-term sustainable metal price, which I think it is. I think it's headed higher. But when we start to imagine $2,800, $2,900, if that was a new benchmark, this project is just a cash cow, which is exactly how George B. described it to me when he chose to come and join us as our CEO in August of 2020.